Hey, I'm Jimmy, and I have the Twitter page American Gunfighter. And today I want to talk about combat veterans and why we're feared. And it's actually kind of a sad problem, but it's not a problem that has one simple answer or has one thing that could fix it. And nor does it have one reason why it actually exists in the first place. So I'm going to kind of go through what I think about what happened post 9/11 to the veterans that came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and kind of how we could go about fixing it. First thing is the mainstream media and cinema, actors, movies, everything that you see, television shows, everything that normal, everyday people see who've never been in the military, they see the same thing, the same stereotype over and over and over again, and that is that vets are crazy, we all have PTSD, and we're all trained killers, and we are just waiting for one single catalyst to set us off before we go on a killing rampage. And I've seen that stereotype over and over and over, and I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, that offends me so much, because the reality is that there are some guys out there who probably fit that mold, but they are so few from the rest that it's just it almost is like a fantasy world. It's like watching a video on the Lord of the Rings. It doesn't have anything to do with reality. So that's a problem. And the reason why that's a problem is that because most civilians conveniently forget that people that serve in the military are citizens of the exact same country. Citizens who are, by the way, beholden to the whims of our leaders, and we don't get to choose where it is we go or what it is we do. If the President of the United States and the Congress say, you need to go over to Afghanistan and bring that place under military control, and the Senate approves the money and the funding to do that, then we have absolutely no choice. We were the ones that signed our life away, raised our hand and said, yeah, I'm going to go. And we have to go do that. And you know what? There's something noble in that, and there's also something naive in that. And I was 17 years old when I joined the service, and I was incredibly naive. And I did not start to realize what was happening until much later. All right, so people need to remember that. They need to put in their mind that these are not a subsect of society. These are actually my neighbors. These are people I went to church with. These are people I grew up with. These are people I went to high school with. These are people that played on the football team or marched in the band or whatever. And now they are soldiers, and they're ordinary people that got thrown into an extraordinary situation because of the whims of a few. So that's a problem. Now, the next problem that really needs to be addressed is people see combat veterans, especially if you were in the infantry or anything to do with actually out there kicking down doors and shooting guns. They see you as a violent person by nature. That's not reality. Just because you were trained to be violent and you had to be violent in a war doesn't mean that you are a violent person by nature. It just means that you have that ability. And I'm here to warn everybody that thinks that you don't. You do. Every human being has the capacity to be violent. Very violent. And if you go back in history, and I'm a history guy, the entire history of the world is fraught with people killing people. If we do it better than we do anything else, better than finding out how to cure diseases, better than how to go into space, better than anything else, we figure out new, better, more efficient ways to kill each other. That has been our calling card since the first guy picked up a rock and slammed it over another guy's head and went, you know what, this works better when it's sharp. And that is a sad testament to humanity, but it is also reality. I mean, you got to accept that. Now, if you're like me and you're a veteran and you spent 10 years of your life learning how to shoot, training to be good at it, and having to use it in a situation where your life literally depended on it, you sort of fell in love with the weapon systems that you were using. So you owned guns when you got out. And there's a couple of really good reasons for veterans to want to do that. Number one, it's a skill that we know how to do, that we're really good at, that almost doesn't require a whole lot of brain power anymore. It's something you can do to sort of act as a zen. And I tell people all the time, I go to the range and shoot because it's my zen. I calm down because I'm doing things that actually require me to be calm to do it. Firing a rifle requires incredibly complex fine motor skill to do correctly. What's crazy about combat is that everything in your body is ramping up your physical attributes, how fast how you hear things, what you're taking in. Your blood pressure is going up. Your endorphins and dopamine are going up, and all of those things are making fine motor skill incredibly difficult. So finding a way to manage your body when it's in heightened periods of stress and do complex fine motor skills, which require you to be very calm, becomes a zen. And a lot of guys don't realize it, but they're actually doing it, and that's one of the reasons why they like shooting. Number two, if you spent a large portion of your life in a place where it was incredibly dangerous, and the thing that was going to save your life, aside from your buddies who are there to protect you and protect each other, was your weapon system. If you spent a lot of time like that, where life as you know it was just, hey, I got to be able to bring this rifle to bear on the bad guys and do them in right now, and anything can happen at any given time. It doesn't matter, day or night. If I don't have my rifle next to me, I could be caught in a position where I can't do anything, and then I'm dead. And you live like that for a long time, and then all of a sudden you don't have it anymore. It becomes something like at the back of your mind, like in the Matrix. It's the splinter in your mind that I don't have something that I desperately need, even though your conscious mind is saying, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm in the United States. Nothing crazy is going to happen. But in the back of your mind, your subconscious mind is going, yeah, you do, man. Anything can happen at any time, because it's spent so much time in that environment that it doesn't retrain like overnight. It only takes one bad experience to create a startle reflex or anything like that. And you see it in animals and you see it in humans. So when you don't have that weapon, you have this tension that you just don't know what to do with. And then you pick up your pistol, you pick up your AR, you pick up whatever, and you're good to go. You feel okay again. Am I saying that having a combat pacifier is okay? No, but you need to understand it before you can just start judging it. So therein lies sort of the problem. Here we have all these veterans. They have been to combat. They may or may not have PTSD. The world is telling us that they are crazy and that they might lose their minds. And they all own guns. That's scary to a lot of people. Well, let's go through that. Owning guns and having the skill to use them does not make you a threat. Unless, of course, you're planning to do something nefarious to that veteran or his friends and family, in which case, yeah, you're probably dead. So you really don't need to worry about that. Remember that soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, specifically soldiers and Marines, spend a lot of time worrying about when do I shoot, when do I not shoot, when is it okay to pull the trigger. And a number of times I had a private turn around and look at me and go, Sergeant, can I shoot? Can I shoot? And I'm like, yeah, man, fire them up, go. Because they're still worried about it. And it's not because of this inherent human desire to not kill people. I'm telling you right now, the inherent human desire to survive is much, much stronger than the cultural norm of not killing people. And I'm telling you right now, that is a new thing. That has not been with humanity for very long. So expecting that is the reality and the new human being that we live in is absolutely insane. If you look back in history and you look at the warrior culture from back in history, and you even go all the way back, go not that long ago, go to the Wild West where everybody was carrying a gun because there were Indians and other nefarious actors rolling around and just a normal guy out on the street, and you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, you had to carry a gun, and sometimes you had to use it. So having that skill was important. So clearly, the desire to survive is much, much stronger than the desire to not kill. Now, you have to understand that straight out of the gate so that you can better understand veterans and really humanity. And this is where the problem lies. All of those things that I just laid out. We are now at a point where veterans are starting to close themselves off from the rest of society. They are becoming their own little ethnic group, their own little subgroup within the society that we live in, within the greater society. We didn't see this after World War I. We didn't see this after World War II. We didn't see this after Korea. We started to see it after Vietnam, and we're really starting to see it now after this war. And the reason is very simple. It's the polarization of the community, the country at large, against the people that fought the war. And in today's society, it's not so much that people are against the soldiers, they're against the policy. But because of all the things I just mentioned before, people are afraid to talk to soldiers. They're scared. They don't know really what to say. They want to come up and say, hey, thank you for your service. And most veterans go, I don't really know what to say to that. And what they really should ask is, what did you do in the Army? Did you deploy? And not ask the question, did you kill anybody or any of that stupid stuff, but actually try to get to know this person, because he is a person, he or she is a person, went to combat, saw some crazy stuff, and wants to be now back a part of the society. They had to go become a savage and live in a barbaric world for 7, 12, 15, 18 months. Maybe some people like me, I got 56 months in combat over and over and over again, and now they want to be out and they want to be a part of society. And we need to do a better job at that. If we don't, the fact that the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and the veterans of those branches are closing themselves off from the rest of society, and they are starting to see the rest of society as against them, means that very shortly they're going to feel that they are against the society that they've sworn to protect. Luckily, I don't think we're on the cusp of that anytime soon, but you're starting to see it come to the surface. You're starting to see veterans hang out in their groups, and they don't want to talk to anybody else that wasn't in their group because those people don't understand. Well, veterans, you need to make it a part of your mission to educate those knuckleheads who don't understand and have some patience and deal with them. Just because they didn't go do what you did doesn't mean that they're not good people. And it also means that you need to give them the opportunity to see what a veteran looks like up close, because in 10 years, they might be hiring veterans, and you want them to have a good impression of what a veteran is. And so that's on us. All right. We also don't want to become an echo chamber. We don't want to just sit there and talk back and forth about, yeah, civilians suck. Oh, yeah, civilians just suck. They just don't understand us. And eventually, we're only having a conversation with each other, and we're not trying to engage the people that we're supposed to protect, we're supposed to defend, we're supposed to put our lives on the line for, and that's bad. That is the scariest idea I could possibly imagine for this country, because that is one of the reasons why Rome fell. If you look at Julius Caesar and you look at what he did, Julius Caesar had all of the combat veteran troops in Rome. He had them all. There were very few guys who had any modicum of recent combat experience that weren't on Julius Caesar's side. And the reason why is because he basically said, look, all those wars that you just fought for the people of Rome, yeah, they said you suck, and you didn't do it for them. And now they're trying to throw me in jail and take away your honor and take away what you did for your country. And the veterans were like, yeah, fuck that. Let those people suck. We need to get them out. And then we have a bloody Roman civil war. We don't want that in the United States. That's how republics actually fall. And we really need to do a good job of not allowing that to happen. So this is sort of everyone's fault. And it's everyone's fault because of all the things that I just went through. But it also means that we have a unique opportunity to fix it if everyone pitches in. And that's kind of why I'm doing this video. I want people to see this and hopefully take it in and go, okay, no matter whether you're a veteran or you're in the mainstream media or if you're just a regular old Joe who's walking around, see this video, hear one guy, I'm clearly not crazy, I have my own thoughts on things, and I'm going to put those out later, but this is specifically about veterans. So I'm staying away from political views or anything else and just talking about this one little microcosm problem. All right, so first of all, the VA. The VA has been no help to most veterans for the last 16 years. They have not helped us. They haven't helped us reintegrate. They haven't helped us try to find jobs. They haven't helped us with the medical issues that we got. They've made a bureaucratic red tape that's so far and so long, and most veterans go, I don't even want to deal with that. It's not worth my time. I'll just suck it up and drive on, because that's what we were taught to do. Suck it up, keep moving. I don't want to deal with the headache. That's a problem. The VA has the capability to do these things, and that is their job, and they're not doing it. The VA, you are failing. You are failing every veteran every single day. Every time 22 veterans put a gun in their mouth and blow their brains out, you can lay that right at the doorstep of the VA. 100%, I put that blood on your hands Veterans Affairs, and you need to do something. And God willing, and when the new chairman of Veterans Affairs comes in, that person has a plan to do something about it. Second, civilian society. If you've never served in the military, ever, never had a family member, don't know anything about it, make an attempt to understand veterans. Go talk to one. I guarantee you that you can, in the course of 1 week, find somebody around your area that fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. Go talk to them. Talk to a lot of them. Talk to more than one. Get their opinions. See a few things. First of all, they're human beings. Are they maybe a little weird? Yep, but so is everybody else. Everybody's weird. Okay? Everybody. I'm weird. You know, a lot of my buddies who are not veterans are weird, so it's not just us. So get over it. We're weird too. Number two, once you've gotten that out of the way and you've broken that ice, try to figure out and assimilate what makes a veteran tick. What makes them different than a normal person? What are they? How do they see the world? And more importantly, why do they see it that way? What is their background? Why are they looking at this particular thing this particular way? Is it because they're a veteran, or is it just because they're a normal person? And if the answer is yeah, it's a veteran, maybe you should write that down in your little mental notebook and see if other veterans think that way. And start to try to figure them out. You know, I challenge you. Try to figure us out. We need people who are going to try and look at us objectively, not from a slant, not from their own point of view, but to just try and figure us out. Because I'm here to tell you, veterans haven't got ourselves figured out either. We don't know. We just are. Because nobody who has the brain power and the training and all of that is really making a concerted effort. The one person that I have read about that actually made an attempt to do this is Sebastian Junger, and he wrote the book War, which was also the companion to the documentaries Restrepo and Korangal. He actually made an attempt to try and figure out combat soldiers. And he made a smaller attempt to try and figure out what happens to those combat soldiers afterwards. But he really didn't go all the way. And he has a lot of really good talks about why veterans miss combat, why soldiers want to go back. And I challenge you to go look up Sebastian Junger. Go find that. In fact, I will post it in this video, and I will post it on my Twitter page so that you can read it and get a little bit better understanding. And finally, veterans. This is for everybody. And no matter what your MOS, what your rank, when you got in, when you got out, what you did, whether you were a truck driver, a generator mechanic, an infantryman, a Navy flippin' SEAL, or whatever you were, make an attempt to help civilians understand. Guess what? You're going to have to go out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to be patient. You are going to have to deal with a bunch of knuckleheads who want to ask you stupid questions like, did you kill anybody? Be prepared for that going in. Have a TTPs ready to go so that you know if this happens, this is what I'm going to say. If this question gets asked, I'm going to respond with this. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to get frustrated. This is a mission, and it's not for you. It's for your battle buddy. It's for the person that is coming after you that's going to have to deal with this person. You have to set the battlefield conditions for the next veteran that comes along in this person's life. And if you don't do it, you are letting your buddy down. And those are my final thoughts. Troy, if you watch this video, I'd be really interested to hear what you think, bud. You know, send me a message. I appreciate all your support. Troy was the first guy that ever watched my video and gave me encouragement and asked me any questions. And I'm gonna, you know, shout him out, even though he has a hell of a lot more followers than me. And just say thanks. And you know what? If you got something out of this video, let me know. If you want to hear more, let me know. If you have something else that you want to say or ask, let me know. I appreciate all the feedback.